Good morning, colleagues. How are you? I'm so sorry for having arrived a little late. I have a colleague of mine who died, and they're praying for him this morning, and I'm not going to attend burial since we have some. So I had to appear for a few minutes. Back, we talked about that tax, and the government had been reasoned out, and they saved the tax. But we have been informed by those in the textile business that this tax is back. We want to tell you that this is a very unfair tax, very unprecedented, for we do not know any country where textile is measured in kilograms. As we all are aware, we measure textile in quality. We measure textile in meters. But now today we hear that now they are measuring textile, costing it in kilograms. So you'll find that those clothes our people in the village used to put on, which they call kade, and are just heavy, might become very expensive, more than silk. We are told that this tax is meant to protect industries that are dealing in textiles. But the information we have that most of these industries can only be able to produce 3% of what is required in this country. Two, these industries do not actually make clothes. They bring clothes and only put labels. Three, these companies are not indigenous. So we would think that the government in this kind of biting situation, where you cannot provide jobs and Ugandans are trying to make ends meet, it would be prudent that the government stops this kind of tax. We as a party, we think that a serious government should actually empower the locals. All that you see that is given to the penalties of this world. If you went to Chiembe, those people to government, they do not qualify to be a factory. They're actually doing the same thing that is done by those factories. They have sewing machines. They make uniforms, make gomeses, they make suits. But now the tax they are supposed to pay is far higher than the tax of the companies that our government is protecting. And we are also being told by Mr. KAIJA, Honorable KAIJA, that they will not be introducing any kind of taxes. But when you speak to businessmen, taxes have been increased. This vehicle that is called drone, carrier drone, but it's a Toyota Hiace, the tax on it was increased by 10 million. Those who admire this car called Wish, its tax was increased by 2 million. So the public, as the government tells us something different, but behind, they do something different. And as we know that people are failing to make ends meet. So in the kind of this biting economy, and then you are increasing taxes on everything. So would be expected that the government now would be even giving waivers. You are aware just last week, government that is fighting COVID, asking everybody to wash their hands, has also increased taxes on water. So when does government come to give subsidies? Because when asked for subsidies, they say, no, we can't do anything. When people of Uganda try to do things that they feel that they can create jobs and try to live longer, government seems to be frustrating the people of Uganda. Because currently, many Ugandans are going to run out of business. So we are calling on government, keep your tax, shave your tax. And then use the standards that other countries are using. Tax on invoice. You look at the invoice, how much somebody bought a given quantity of textile, and tax them. But the tax on kilograms, no. So that Ugandans now will be like, how many kilograms of suit do you put on? Really, is that English? So the other issue that I've been asked to address is the issue that came to Parliament last week when the minister came and said they wanted to bail out a construction company called ROKO with 202 billion shillings. When we were in COVID, the businesses that never stopped were construction businesses. We are all aware. If there is a company that gets good deals in this country, it is ROKO Constructions. I have been developing a model of what we call liberation economics. Because currently, as I always tell the people of Uganda, those managing this country want to keep us as a captive. As the colonials did to make sure that Ugandans do not control the economy. Likewise, our black colonialists are actually doing the same. Because we have had companies in this country, like Mukala's Construction. The man is now old in a wheelchair. His company collapsed. We have the Mulowozers. We have Zimwe. They have not been bailed out. But this is literally a foreign company. You give it good deals. After giving it good deals, now you are giving it more money. And they are telling the people of Uganda that the government is going to buy 150,000 shares. But the same government was selling public companies as if there's no tomorrow. You know the case of a $1 sale of their corporation, $1, with all this infrastructure. The Nightils, Uganda Hotels, Coffee Marketing Board, and the rest. And they were saying they're not into business. We have had serious scandals of the kind. Government trying to buy shares in private companies. You know of what happened to Munyonyo. You know of what happened to this guy who eventually died during Chogam, the Webaja guy, who they had given $1.5 million to spend in one day, when he went before the Committee of Parliament chaired then by Honorable Nandala Mafabi. The man could not express himself. In about 2 days, pressures got hold of him, and the guy died. So, and we have been informed that possibly there is somebody who's related with the first family that could be a beneficiary of this. So as the FDC, we are literally sending our troops to Parliament to object to this kind of move. Because we have seen all of these bailouts. What are the standards of bailing out? Because this company was working during COVID, there was no lockdown for construction companies. As I told you, all of the best deals in this country, construction deals, this company has been benefiting. So where does the local person fits in? Because if you want to develop an economy, if you want to empower an economy, you empower your local people. What the Ethiopians did was they collected their engineers, assembled them, tell them what they asked them, what do you want? They said this is what they want, and they gave them money, gave them tax reliefs, gave them guarantees, and they're actually hitting the road, constructing roads and dams in Ethiopia. So this kind of dealing as a country and as a party, the penalties of this world and all of those that camouflage to hide in the white people to pretend these are investors. If an investor actually runs out of money, let him go. Because when a local man has money, for us, even if he's NRM, depot or the like, we shall find him in a fundraising of a church and he'll contribute money. I'll find him paying school fees for somebody I know, for another Ugandan. We shall find him constructing a school, a local school, and the rest. So in that way, the best person to bail out must be Ugandan. Bailing out foreign companies is anti-Uganda. It is anti-patriotism. It is anti-Pan-Africanism, as Mr. Museveni always says. If you want to love Africans, if you want to love Ugandans, these kind of bailouts must go to the people of Uganda alone. And the other last issue that I've been told to address you to is the issue again when we heard that in Parliament, ministers have made it a habit of dodging coming to the House. Those who follow parliamentary proceedings, you must be aware that it is the government that must always take the lead in as far as bringing bills and programs for the discussion in the Parliament. So when during the last time when Right Honorable Kadaga was Speaker, there was a time when they said about 8 months ministers are not coming. So that tells you of how the people managing this country treat Ugandans. Because you are paid to come and do people's work. You have allowances, you have all the facilities. So actually, refusing to come to Parliament is one of telling Parliament that we don't take you seriously. No wonder many projects of this government have been brought to have been actually started working without the endorsement of Parliament. In the past, there was about 11 million US dollars when Mr. Museveni was buying jets. Even recently, there was some money that was passed, that was used, and then they only come to Parliament to ratify. So us as a party, we think that a serious government with a majority in Parliament, why wouldn't you come to Parliament? Because if the majority were opposition, you would say we don't want those guys to disturb us when we are doing some kind of work. So we ask parliamentarians to stand up and assert themselves. I think some of them need censure motions. Because when somebody hears a censure motion, you'll see them running. If this was like in the UK, you saw the other day the Prime Minister resigning. Because you are in office for the people. If you're too tired to work, you resign. As a part of been proposing that I think there is a need to have a distinction between Parliament and the executive. We even proposed that those who are ministers should not be MPs, so that we know we have a clear line whereas Parliament starts and stops. So some MPs are impossibly fear to point a finger on a minister Because they know tomorrow they are becoming ministers. Because every day somebody comes and taps you, you know, Museveni is thinking about you. Museveni is thinking about you. So even when you want to ask questions, you don't want to annoy Museveni because tomorrow you'll become a minister. So we are asking Parliament to assert itself. We are asking the ministers, if you're Ugandan, feel for the people of Uganda who pay the hard-earned taxes. Because in this time of crisis, this is when you would be seeing ministers crisscrossing, running from Parliament, going to the ministries, going to the field, to make sure that government programs that are actually meant to help the people run out of this crisis are implemented. But from what we are seeing, these men and women are on holiday, are sleeping on the job, they are at war, and they say, what will you do? A country that has its citizens, that alone would see people of Uganda pouring on the streets, asking ministers, why are you picking our salary? Why are you picking our allowances when you cannot really come and serve the people of Uganda? Of course, we know this is a government that is stressed, very tired. Only that those who must see it out seem to be sleepy. We've had many of them praying to God that God will intercede, which for us we think God only helps those who are on the road. The people of Sri Lanka never waited for God to intercede. Some of you are now, you see them, how you enjoy, how I wish I was in Sri Lanka. No, even Uganda can be. That is what we call a citizen. Responsibilities of a citizen is know when to hire a politician and when to fire them. And how you fire them is what those guys did. Fire the president, fire the prime minister, and wait for a new government. Lastly, preparations for the by-election in Soroti are in high gear. As I told you, I am here because yesterday it was the role of Honorable Semuju this last weekend to lead another team that was on the ground trying to convey support for Honorable Atan. Many colleagues from Soroti East, from Soroti City, from Teso, from Eastern Region, neighboring Lango and Acholi, and others from the center, have a long program on which everybody will be going to make sure that we secure Soroti East and then make the people of Teso proud men and women. Because we cannot allow this kind of situation of trying to always maneuver the laws wherever they're interested. Thank you. Olunaku lwa leero